Hello everyone, my name is Julia Stover and I am your state president. Welcome to this year's pre-recorded version of Indiana HOSA's Winter Rally. We are glad that you decided to attend. In these workshops, we will be focusing on the Student Leadership Challenge book. This book focuses on 5 practices for becoming an exemplary leader. Each officer has picked one of the 5 examples and has made a workshop about it. My workshop focuses on the last example, which is all about encouraging the heart. This may sound a little cheesy, but it is very vital in becoming a successful student leader. So let's get started. Encouraging the heart. What does it focus on? Well, encouraging the heart is going to focus on a lot of positive reinforcement as a leader, as well as a set of shared values and goals within a team. It's also going to focus on high but achievable expectations within a group, and we're going to work on passion within a group. As well as passion, we're going to recognize both big and small accomplishments for each individual person. And we're going to include and appreciate everyone within the group, no matter if they do big or small accomplishments. And then we're also going to include a strong sense of encouragement as a whole. So in encouraging the heart, there are 2 major concepts that we focus on, especially in the book. And these are recognizing contributions by showing appreciation for individual excellence, as well as celebrating values and victories by creating a sense of community. So we're going to break each of these concepts down, just as the book does, and we're going to go step by step through each of them. So first, we'll start with recognizing contributions. What do people need? Well, they want encouragement. In order to be their best, they want to be encouraged by their leader. They also, along with this encouragement, want the courage to try new things within the group. They need the energy and commitment. If a leader isn't bringing about the same commitment and energy as the rest of the group is, they might not be as successful. They also want the will to preserve. If the leader doesn't bring forth that energy and commitment, most of the group isn't really willing to finish bigger projects. And then also the emotional charge to restore their spirits. If emotions are really running low, spirits are running low, and the leader isn't doing anything to fix that, then the work isn't going to be as good or as quality. So one of the parts of recognizing contributions is called expect the best. And this idea is basically showing them that you believe in their skills by having a positive attitude. If a leader doesn't have a positive attitude with the rest of their group, the group isn't going to work their hardest or try very hard. We want to believe that each person is already successful. Even if they do small contributions or big contributions, or they don't do their best every day, you still want to say, I think that you're very successful. Even if sometimes they aren't. You still need to give them that positive attitude and recognize that they're trying their hardest so that they continue trying to be successful. And to do this, you want to use those behavioral attitudes. So you don't want to use an angry tone of voice. You want to be positive. You want to have a light air about you. Your words and your posture, if you're slouching and you're kind of twiddling your thumbs like you're anxious, that's going to make others anxious. And you don't want to exude those negative behaviors because it'll make the rest of your team feel like negative as well. So there's something called the Pygmalion Effect. The theory behind this actually comes from Greek mythology, and it is about a Greek sculptor named Pygmalion, and he created a statue of a woman that was so perfect that he fell in love with her. And he fell so in love with her that every day he prayed and he begged to Aphrodite, and she eventually just came down and she brought that sculpture to life. And so the underlying theme of this Greek myth is that it explains why all of our relationships are self-fulfilling prophecies. And so here's this little graph. And basically what that means is our actions, our positive attitude to others is going to impact their beliefs. So we're going to impact others' beliefs about either us or them. It's going to impact their beliefs, how they're thinking about what they're doing. And then what's that going to cause? It's going to cause them to work better. It's going to cause them to try a little harder. And then their actions are going to reinforce our own beliefs. If we do good actions, if we try harder, it's going to make us think, wow, I am successful. I really can do this. And then of course that's going to influence our actions towards others. If I can do it, so can you. So the entire aspect of the Pygmalion effect is what we're doing is we're setting those high expectations, and therefore that is going to give us high expectations. So continuing on with the expect the best from recognizing contributions, we want to be clear about the rules and the goals. So the goals that we set for ourselves is going to give recognition that context that it needs. If we set a goal and we make it, we're going to recognize others for achieving that goal. Like I just said, people need and want to be recognized for achieving both small and large goals. Any goal is an important goal, and we have to recognize all of those achievements. These goals are going to keep the thought on that shared vision, that set of values that we set for ourselves. We are going to make sure that those goals are keeping the thoughts on the shared vision. And then also, goals are going to keep things constant. People want and expect those achievements to be recognized, and the goals are going to keep that consistent. We also want to give regular feedback. Feedback is really important, and feedback is a motivator. Positive feedback is going to improve performance. Sometimes you do have to give feedback that isn't necessarily the greatest. Sometimes maybe someone didn't do their job correctly. Maybe they accidentally did something wrong. You're going to want to give them feedback on that, but you also want to make sure that it's still in a positive manner. Going back to that behavioral aspect, if you use rude words and a negative tone, they're going to feel bad about themselves. They're not going to want to learn from their mistakes because you're being so negative. If you approach it in a positive way, you can help others learn from their mistakes without hurting their feelings. And that's what's really important about feedback, is you want to make sure that you don't lower that morale, but you still give them the feedback that they need. So now we're going to go to celebrating values and victories. So creating a spirit of community, we want to celebrate those accomplishments. And we also want to provide social support. As a leader, it's really important to celebrate accomplishments and provide that social support. If people aren't doing as well as they should, or if they need a little help with something, it's your job to be there as a leader. You also want to invest in fun. Although work is really important, if there's too much work, people get overwhelmed. They get drained. If they get drained, they don't want to do work anymore. Investing in fun, going out with people, celebrating those accomplishments, that's really going to help create a spirit of community, and people are going to want to come to work. Get personally involved. You want to show that you care about these people. You can't just be their leader, you have to be their friend as well. You want to make sure that when someone is doing a project, you check in on them, you say, hey, how's that project going? Do you need any help? What can I do for you? And then, just like investing in fun, make the celebrations part of the traditions. We want to make sure that people aren't getting too drained from work. We want to make sure that people are enjoying what they do, enjoying their job, and not just required to do it. So let's put this into focus of student leadership. How can this impact you? Well, student leaders affect all of their peers. The peer influence is incredibly strong. These student leaders are setting examples for their peers. By focusing on these specific passions, group success becomes prevalent. And student leaders can inspire other students. If you're such a good leader, then other people are going to want to do what you do. These other students are going to want to seek leadership roles of their own. And then, of course, we want to encourage others to lead a string of encouragement throughout the group, going back to that sense of community, getting personally involved. We want to make sure that encouragement is something that is common within the group. So, putting it into focus, let's look at some examples. So first, sports teams. A lot of high schoolers, middle schoolers, college students are all on sports teams. So how does this encouraging the heart affect a sports team? Well, when you put all of the things of encouraging the heart into focus, team members are going to feel so much more welcomed and appreciated. Going back to that sense of community, that encouragement. When you put those things into effect with your team members, they're going to feel so welcomed on a team, especially if they're new. They're going to feel so appreciated that they're going to want to stay on the sports team. It's also going to build a lot of confidence. If you give them encouragement, say, hey, that kick was great. I don't really know a lot about sports. I don't do many sports, but if you say, hey, that kick was amazing, that's going to build their confidence. That's going to encourage them to try harder. Going back to the Pygmalion Effect, that's going to encourage them to try harder. They're going to want to kick even more, and they're going to get so good at it that their confidence is just going to skyrocket. You also want to focus on those improvements, but with the positive reinforcement, that positive feedback. Maybe say, hey, that kick wasn't so good, but you know what you can do? Let me show you. So you want to focus on that, but make it positive. And of course, you want to make that spirit of community bright. You want to get that positive environment for the whole team so that you are a better team. Fundraising activities. So let's just say that you are doing a fundraiser for HOSA's National Service Project, Be the Match. So putting in encouraging the heart, we can encourage all the goals to fundraising be met. And what that means, or making that an example, if you guys set a goal of $2,500, that's what you want to make for the day, and you encourage that and you keep that goal going, you remind people, hey, this is our goal, or encourage others to, go scout out for people who might want to invest, you can encourage that goal to be met. In this fundraising activity and encouraging the heart, you want to inform people to do what is important to them. I know that I don't really have a personal connection to Be the Match or what they stand for, but I am a donor, so are my family, and we think that's important to us. We're very involved in healthcare, so that's important to us. It might be different for other people. They might have had to have a bone marrow transplant or something similar to that, and that's important to them. So if you can encourage people to do what is important to them, then it's going to make them want to help with the project and with the fundraising activity, and encourage others to do so as well. You want to be positive about the needs to be met, such as the goals and the vision, but you also want to be realistic. You don't want to set too high of a goal and get everyone's hopes up for meeting that goal, and then you don't. Because if you don't meet an unrealistic goal, then it might lower people's morale. It might make them feel like, oh, we didn't meet that goal. That was not good. Like, we probably should have tried a lot harder. If you set a realistic goal for yourself as well as the team, it might make others feel happier when they reach that goal. You also want to create a good group dynamic. A fundraising activity as well as a sports team, but a fundraising activity has a lot of moving parts, and sometimes people aren't on the same page. So what we want to make sure is, with encouragement and positive reinforcement, we want to make sure that the group dynamic is strong and solid and that nobody's out of the loop. We also want to congratulate people. Everyone is trying their best, with individuals and in a group. So be sure to both congratulate the group as well as individuals for their service with this fundraising activity. So, in summary, encouraging the heart. The little things matter. People like to hear feedback. We want to make sure that it's positive feedback, even if it's about something negative. The more you're recognizing these things for the group, the more the group wants to continue working hard. The more you recognize people's achievements, they're going to want to continue achieving and aiming for higher things. And then, of course, you want to use that positive encouragement to deliver both positive and negative feedback. So now we're going to do an activity. So you just need a piece of paper and a writing utensil, and you can read the instructions there. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of an encouraging the heart activity. And this is going to be for yourself. It's not going to be for anyone else. But we are basically going to do this. You can't really see it. Oh dear. Oh no. Oh, you got it for a second there. Here it is. So mine's a little rough, I'll tell you that. I did it on construction paper. But what we're going to do is we're going to draw a big heart on our paper, and we're going to split it into fourths. We're going to write successes up here, and then improvements up here. And then we're just going to write 4 things, 2 successes and 2 improvements that you have had in the year, the month, the day. It doesn't matter. Whenever you have had successes and things you could improve on. So obviously you can't really see my example, but I'll read them out to you. I promise this won't take long, but I think that it is important not only to encourage others, but to encourage yourself. We want to focus not only on our achievements as well as others, but what we can improve on as well. So what I've written down for my successes, and these are just examples, you don't have to write anything similar, just whatever you think you succeeded on and what you can improve on. So for my successes, I said over winter break, I cleaned out my closet and I organized it, and I thought that was a success for myself. But an improvement was that I need to clean around my room, and I have a lot of bags that I need to donate, so I have to take those, to the place where I'm going to donate them. So your successes and improvements don't have to relate. They can be completely different, but those are just my examples. One of them, I said I got into the colleges I was hoping to get into, but I need to work on my time management for those college applications because I submitted them right on the deadline. So those are just examples. So I can do my example with you. I have a piece of blank paper, and this is for you, so make it however you want. I'm going to use a blue marker. It's my favorite color is blue. So we're just going to draw a big heart, or however big you think it needs to be. There's my heart. It's a little bit rough. But now we're going to draw a horizontal line and a vertical line through the heart. So it's going to kind of look like a fourths. It's going to look like fourths. 4 sections here. And then on the left side of the heart, successes. Then on the right, improvements. Okay, just like that. So there they are, successes and improvements. And then we're just going to write 2 things. So 2 successes and 2 improvements. And I'll let you do that on your own. If you want to pause this right now, you can go ahead and do that. And you can make it pretty if you want. I know that mine's a little rough, but you can do however you want because it is your successes and it's your improvement, and you want to encourage yourself however you need to. So if you'd like, you can pause this and you can write your successes down, your improvements down, and then we'll move on to the debrief. Okay, we are going to go ahead and move on to the debrief section. So, how difficult was it to write those successes down? Maybe it was easy, maybe it was really hard. What about your improvements? Was it harder to write the successes down or the improvements down? Why do you think that is? I know for me, it was definitely hard to write successes down, but I'm very self-critical of myself sometimes, so it was kind of easy to write those improvements down. How did it make you feel when you wrote those things that you were successful at? How did it make you feel? Did it make you feel really good about the successes? Did it kind of make you feel like, oh, wait, maybe that's not the success I should write down? What are the successes I have? I know for me, I was really proud of myself when I cleaned my closet out, because that's something that I've been meaning to do for years. So that made me feel really good to be able to write that success down and say, I finally cleaned my closet. And then when you look at your improvements, do they seem harsh on yourself? Why or why not? A lot of us can be really self-critical. I know I can. My improvements didn't really seem like that, but I know that a lot of us can sometimes feel, especially during this pandemic, that, we're being too hard on ourselves and we don't feel like we're doing anything well, but these successes are proving that we are. So if you look at your improvements and you think, that seems really harsh, why do you think that is? And then finally, how can this apply when you're trying to encourage others with positive reinforcement? Thinking back to that idea of positive feedback, going to successes and improvements. I know that's how I do my own positive feedback, as I say, here's what you successed at. That was really, really good. But now here's what you can improve at. If you give someone a success or told them that they did something really good before saying, here's what you can improve on, makes them feel a little better about what they're about to hear on what they could improve on. So thank you very, very much for attending this pre-recorded session. I hope you gained a little bit of knowledge about it, and I hope that you enjoy our winter rally and learn a little bit more. And I hope to see you all at the state conference in April. Thank you very much.